Welcome to ISB. My name is Nino Khanashvili. We talked today with Priyanka Malhotra, who very successfully conducted our second module in the Advanced Diploma program, Development, Strategic Management and Leadership Skills. Hello, Priyanka. Thanks for coming. Could you tell us briefly about the module, what it is about?
Sure. The module is called Strategic Management and Leadership. And in this, there are three main areas. So we talk about what is strategic management and what is leadership. And we try and make students understand the difference between going from a manager to a strategic manager to a leader. Mm-hmm. We then move on to leadership styles and management styles and the theories of management and leadership. And then finally, we move on to how to develop leaders and how to develop strategic managers. And we focus both on the individuals, so the students as leaders, as managers, and what they can do to develop as leaders, but also the tools they can use with their own teams and in their companies to develop others as leaders and managers.
Can you tell us more about why is it important for the audience?
So one of the things people tend to forget that what makes companies successful and differentiates the successful from the average company is the people. The people are the ones that develop the vision, that develop the strategic plan of the company, and that inspire the other workers in the company. And so in the end, this comes down to management and this comes down to leadership. And this is the core skill that you need in CEOs, CFOs, chairmen, supervisory boards. It's also the skill that people spend the least amount of time on. So when we go to university, we're trained in technical skills, or we're trained in general business management and administration, how to develop a project plan, how to sell a business, but we don't focus on how to develop talent. We don't focus on what inspires people. The second thing is when people get promoted in the middle of their careers or even later in their careers, and when they arrive, they feel they've arrived. They know the technical skills and that is it. And they forget that actually leadership is something you never stop learning. Management is something you never stop learning. And you always have to be critical of yourself. You always have to find new ways to inspire people. And the final aspect is people take leadership for granted.
Right.
They think once they've become a leader or they've become a senior person in a company, they know what to do and everyone will just listen to them. And when they watch other leaders, they never actually stop and reflect on what is it that makes this person a leader, what is it that inspires this person. And that's what you need to do to actually understand how you can become a leader. So it is the characteristic that differentiates the average from the successful. And it is the characteristic that people need to spend a lot more time on once they've left university to actually try and create a successful company.
Thank you. And the students mentioned they loved the methodology. Can you tell us more? What was the method you were teaching with? I mean, what kind of tools you used?
So in the style of ISB's program, I used a mixture. So I used theory. It's very important for people to learn the theory, but the theory was embedded in practical experience and in case studies. So the first day we started with just watching leaders and managers and watching people who are not leaders and trying to talk about what it was that inspired the people, why they felt someone was a leader. So we used videos and we used just practical reality. And then we moved into theory. We talked about what are the theories of leadership, and we didn't just stop at naming the theories and giving an interesting insight. We then moved to the case study method. So I gave the students about 3 to 4 different case studies over the course of days. Sometimes we came back to the same case study and we tried to talk about practically what they would do, and then we linked it to the leadership style, to the leadership theory. So the aim was that students don't learn by rote and they don't learn by lecturing. They learn because they understand a concept and they feel a concept. And then finally, one of the tools I used was the international angle. Right. So I didn't try and use experiences that they would be familiar with from Georgia. This is again in the spirit of what ISB is trying to do. So brought them case studies from successful companies around the world and also brought them videos from people internationally and from my own experience from living in 4 different countries and working with different kinds of companies and CEOs and chairmen and senior management and trying to bring their experiences to the table. The most effective tool that we had was debate,
Right,
where we forced the debate and discussion. And the way we did this was by leaving a lot of time for the debate, leaving a lot of time for discussion, and asking the groups to debate with each other on whether one style was better, one approach they gave was better, and finally of giving a controversial case study, one that I knew would not, they would not like, they would not think was natural, to try and then get them to understand what is the concept that is being used. So really it was trying to make them understand the concepts as opposed to just giving them theories.
Can you tell us 2 or 3 things you think they will change afterwards in their own work environment?
My observation, the first observation was they realized that they don't just learn leadership and management once, they will keep coming back to it. I think that was one of the most powerful lessons I saw them learn and the feedback they gave me. And when you watch students, you realize that it was an eye-opener, that suddenly this was a concept that they realized was constant. They had to constantly learn. The second example would be interview skills.
Right,
so on the last day, we talked about how you recruit a leader. And it started with people giving me very high-level examples of, well, I'll ask them about their experiences. And then we got to what are the problems with doing that, and we actually came up with a list of 5 very concrete interview tools. And I think they found that sort of revolutionary. Suddenly they found that they had a different tool to use and a different style of being able to interview. And finally, the difference between management and development. One of the students said at the end, I realized, and this is a very experienced manager who said, you know, I realized management is not just about managing. It's actually about developing and putting a development plan in place. That is what management is really about, and developing the people in my team. So I think those are the 3 most powerful things they took away.
Thank you, Priyanka, so much. We were talking today with Priyanka Malhotra, guest lecturer for developing strategic management and leadership skills. This is ISB.